Hey man,
What's going on, bro?
good to be back.
Yes, sir. We're just chatting about how we really love our name of the podcast, Made for Strangers. And it coincidentally really ties in, I think, with today's topic as we observe our own identity, but also the identity of others and what interests us in them.
Yeah,
Maybe you can expand a little bit more about what kind of brought you to today's topic because you came up with it.
yeah, man. I think when we picked this name, Made for Strangers, then maybe this topic was inevitable because yeah, you think about a stranger and you think like, is that an interesting person? Is it somebody that you would want to talk to or want to meet? And then you start going down that rabbit hole of, well, what does make a person interesting? What does make a person someone that you would want to meet or someone that you want to keep engaging with instead of just like getting away from them? Um, yeah, yeah, it was just a very broad topic. I was trying to get more, yeah, more open-minded, trying to come up with ideas that were going a little bit different direction than the last couple. And this came to me as something that's, yeah, it's very, very universal and very accessible, and seems like a super fun thing to talk about. So yeah, I've been excited to do this one.
So like in seeing what interests you of another person, do you see that as like a synonym for like thinking someone's cool, like or
Man, that's a great question. I think it ties in with the overall question of like what makes somebody interesting. Is it that they have a cool personality? Is it that they tell cool stories or that yeah, they're very like individuated, they have their own style of dress and stuff. But for me, yeah. For me, I mean that's like those things kind of go hand in hand. Like I see somebody and like I think, man, that person's cool. Like that's for me like it's kind of hand in hand with an interesting person. It's not all there is to it, but absolutely.
yeah. Yeah, I see it on a physical level, on an intellectual level, and a spiritual level. All three of those kind of form a, a well-rounded, cool, interesting person.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. It seems if somebody is one, they're well, now I don't want to say if somebody's one of those things, then they're usually the other things as well. We all exist on different dimensions and we can be super developed in one area and not in another. So that's not true. But that being said, yeah, let's dive into it. What makes somebody interesting? That's what we're talking about today.
Yeah, I want to say like, we're interesting in and of ourselves. I see it as in looking on to other people's lives, it's a way to mirror or to see from an external point of view what we might not be able to see in ourselves. And it's a good way, just like just as a reference point of like, yeah, like I dig that. I like what that guy's saying, or I like how his swagger, I like how he's moving, or that girl, blah, blah, blah. It's a way of, and it takes us being able to let down our egos or like to, push them out of the way a little bit to actually appreciate another person like this, to
Yeah.
see their attributes as a beautiful thing and something that we might not even want to embody, or it's not even about mimicking, but just like appreciating someone else.
Man, yeah, yeah, yeah. It does take letting down the putting the ego aside a little bit to genuinely appreciate somebody and really find those qualities good for what they are and not get into comparison and feeling those like, well, they have that, but I don't, or but I have this and they don't. Like just appreciating how somebody is yeah, that's how you really find out what you get the real insights about what somebody whether they're interesting or not, and you learn things about yourself that way. But
Yeah. And everyone has, there's wisdom and beauty in everything, no matter the person. Um, this interest interesting nature is like a magnetic attractiveness that come in certain levels, I guess you could say. And for me, it really originates in how deeply someone is connected to themselves. How much, how you could say how in love they are with themselves in the most selfless sort of, um, not in an egoic sense, not in a cocky sense per se. Even
Yeah.
though there is like an essence of that that can exist and it'd be fucking totally cool. Um, in the sense where it's like you're not, yeah, I think you know what I mean.
Yeah, man, it's like it's layers upon layers. Like somebody can have that outer edge where they have that kind of like cocky persona, but they also have like the natural innocent sense of being in love with themselves. Like they're someone who's connected, they're in touch with themselves and they honor themselves. And that's like some people have that foundation where they honor themselves and they really know what they want and what they like. And then outside of that, they have that like cocky edge. And for me, that's one of like the big ego testers for me is that used to like be a trigger for me when somebody had that like ego. And I think it was because I didn't, because I was like very timid and very shy, that it was kind of like a reversal for me to see people who were like very, I don't want to say type A, but they had that edge, they had that swagger. Like people with that swagger used to bother me. And now that I step back and I start to see the people who have that swagger on the outside, but they also have that connected love on the inside. Like they love life and they love themselves. And
Yeah.
that kind of person is super fucking interesting. Like, don't always be fooled by somebody's outer swagger. Like, look to the inside.
That's a good point. The connection to love. And I heard this today. This is kind of is directed towards men. You can either be an asshole or a dick. And the dick is more so a guy that is connected to love and just stands up more so for what is right in this world. You
What a
know, stand up for justice, but might come off and be perceived as, you know, a dick. And but the asshole is more disconnected from love and just, you know, shitting on everything. And um it he's, you know, more so covering up maybe a wounded child or something of that nature. Um, but that being a dick, that sort of personality, for me, from what I've kind of come through a similar path as you, and seeing it as, you know, like someone that's rooted in their own selves and knows their own morals and values and loves themselves and loves this world and is willing to stand up and actually be confident in that is a superpower. And it's like something really cool to embody in a man.
Yes, it really is. It really is. Yeah, that nails for me, that is one thing that makes somebody really an interesting person for me. Somebody who piques my interest. I want to learn more about somebody when I get that sense that they're connected, that they're rooted in real values that matter to them and they've got that grounded sense. That absolutely makes a person very dynamic and interesting. Want to learn more about that kind of person.
Yeah, so that to me, there's one massive aspect to that that people carry, and that's just like not caring about the world so much, not caring about their actions or other people's thoughts as much. Although what they do in this world is rooted in specific morals and values that they uphold to themselves. But they don't give a, they're going out into the world and they don't give a fuck about speaking their minds. They don't give a fuck about what other people think. They're rooted in an internal voice that is already connected to the Most High and understands in this world to a level that um, breaks down just the mundane monstrosity we live in in a way that it just cuts right through it, you know? And you can see them kind of being magicians with how they move through it all. It's like, you know, there's a swagger, there's just like a way they move where it just flows. And it comes from this not caring. It's like the laid back dude, like fucking the Brad Pitt in Fight Club, like just like completely laid back, open, chest open, everything is open and just chilling and just not giving a fuck. But there's a deep mission behind that not giving a fuck.
Tyler Durden knew how to let the unimportant truly slide.
What did you say?
Yeah, I said Tyler Durden knew how to let the unimportant truly slide.
Yeah,
That's what Jack says about his alter ego at one point. That's like seriously, you got it. Like that's exactly the mentality. Like they're connected to the highest. They're connected to that point, that truth that is unwavering and to values that are not going anywhere. So the mundanity and the small fry shit just doesn't phase people like that. So you see these guys, yeah, they're always chill. They're always able to get the just stay keep the high ground, I guess. I'm
yeah,
thinking of somebody exactly like that right now. Uh, yeah,
yeah. They're chill. They're not overly anxious about the world, you know? And one of the dude I sent some of his videos to you describes this in the posture. This is again relating to men, but like how we walk and like, you know, a lot of people are hunched over with their head forward and it's projecting anxiety. And when we lean over it,
yes,
like the mind is dragging us
yeah.
when we're hunched over and walking like that. And it just screams, you know, it's not attractive. But when you walk with your groin, you know, with your genitals like first and your hips and you're laid back, that and your vitals, which he says, like when you show your vitals like this, that screams confidence and just relaxation. You're not afraid
Yeah,
when
you're
you're
not afraid
hunched
to be
over.
vulnerable. Yeah. You're literally in like a more vulnerable pose, like you're not protecting yourself. But it's
Yeah,
also like it's a power step because it's yeah, you're not afraid to be vulnerable.
yeah.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, that's definitely for especially for dudes, that's part of it. But yeah, like you said, just moving through the mundane. It's really like it's fascinating. We all live in the same world. We all have to deal with mundane stuff. We all have to do our laundry. We got to drive to and from work and things, but some people live super interesting lives and some people not so much. That's yeah, it's we all live in
You
the
got
same.
I think another way to say this is interesting people, they romanticize life in all the ways possible. And through their own life, you can see how they are either doing that or not, how they're engaging with life. If it is becoming a like seductive play kind of thing, or it's just, you know, you don't feel that energy and it's just wiped out. That a good way to see if someone's interesting is look into their life, look into their day to day, and you can see what choices they're making.
Yeah, and does it seem like it's one big chore to them?
Yeah,
Does it seem
it's
like
an
life is just one big chore? Like even whether it's going to hang out at a family get together or going to like a concert or just doing things around the house. I have seen people make all of those things into chores. I have seen that like for a lot of people like almost everything is a chore. Like it's just another thing that has to be done. It's another doing and yeah, that's moving in the opposite direction.
yeah. So like people that have personalities, which you know is a deep topic, but I was thinking about this today. Like money usually wipes a personality out of someone if they are living for money solely, if that has become their North Star. And there's ways in which you can develop both of them at the same time, which I've seen. But obviously, more times than not, a lot of people just make their life about acquiring numbers rather than a personality, and understanding that there's so much more, which is what I've been realizing. There's so much more going on in our daily life. Like, if we just think like, oh, 10 years from now, once I have $1 million or whatever it is, then I'll be able to live. Like, no, that's not it. Life's happening right now. And you have to have that mentality. You have to start developing that mentality now to just engage with it in a way where it's keeping you curious. It's keeping you wanting to learn and grow. That's that's what's interesting in people, is like when they want to learn more about what the hell's going on here, and also they want to enjoy it more. It's not like a learning to, necessarily like beat the game or something. It's like a learning to love and to enjoy it.
Yeah, yeah, man. That the curiosity thing makes me think of my friend Nick. He's I was reflecting on him. I was thinking about what makes him so interesting, because every time I talk to him, like I never know what this guy is gonna say. And it's curiosity. He is such a curious guy. He's always trying new things. He's an experimental cook, and he makes his own hot sauce, and he even like grows peppers in his garden and then makes hot sauce out of them. And he's always trying to grow new plants in his garden. He just got some livestock, and he got chickens a while back. And he's always doing a new project. And he watches TV shows that nobody else watches. And he's just like the generative point of all that is he's such a curious guy. Like he goes down rabbit holes that I've never seen anybody go down. Like just like, and I can tell sometimes he does it just for the sake of curiosity, not because he's like necessarily trying to find the next best thing, or yeah, like exactly like you said, he's not trying to win the game. He's not trying to find like some ultimate endpoint. He's just endlessly curious. Like I see it in his eyes, like when I talk to him, and he knows, like he knows that he's like gone down rabbit holes that like nobody goes down, and he'll tell me the weirdest facts, like things that I'm like, dude, I've never even fucking thought about that before. And he just, man, every time he is 3 years younger than Justin and I. And yeah, man, this is when I thought of like what makes the person interesting, I was thinking of him and drilling down, and curiosity all the way. Anybody who's got that sense of curiosity, the higher the degree, man, that to me, that makes a person so freaking interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's this when I went to the concert this past weekend, there was two things that stood out, or one thing that stood out between two artists. And it was that these two artists had previously written songs, or no, one actually wrote a love song with an ex-partner. And then she, instead of like throwing it out or something, she alchematized it and she kept the melody and everything, but she changed the words to it as a way, after they broke up, as a way to still be able to express herself through it. And it was just referring to the breakup and the relationship. But I thought that was really cool. I thought that was really interesting to have that mindset, to be able to take something you already written that was connected to a lover, and that separated, and then to transform that by keeping the same, you know, all the underlying music, and just changing the words and making it something that's adheres to the present.
And it's a
I thought
living,
that was cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
living
yeah,
key.
yeah. Love.
I haven't seen, yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that. Wow.
Yeah. And then the other artist that I just had a lesson with today, he wrote a song about his cousin that just passed away. And that was his way of like transmuting and using trauma, hardship in life in a creative way to make a song from it in a beautiful way. So there's a way someone's interesting in that they take life struggles and hardships and are able to, you know, make something out of it that is actually beautiful and presentable and that they show it to the world.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, being able to face those things and alchemize it, do that alchemy is incredible. That's a human superpower. That's the a uniquely human thing. Like that just gets at the heart of what we're doing here. Man, yeah, I'd love to hear that song. That's really cool.
Yeah. Dude, she got a beautiful voice. I'll share it with you. Um, so today I had actually I'll start last night I had a soccer match, and then today I woke up and went to some guitar lessons, and then I was in this really cool town. It's called Woodstock. Obviously, probably everyone has heard of it. It's where the famous, or it's actually not where it happened. It was supposed to be where it was going to happen, the famous Woodstock Festival. But I'm not going to get into that story. But it's still a really cool town. It's a really hippie town, and it's an awesome eccentric place. I went on this really cool hike, and on the way back down, I met this one dude. He's 73 years old, and we just probably walked a mile down the path together, and he's just telling me his life, and I'm just engaging with him, and he's telling me all this crazy shit, and it's just like this is an interesting dude. He worked for on Wall Street for J.P. Morgan back in the 70s. He's actually same as me. He's Sicilian and Italian, Irish. So we had a lot of parallels together. But he was in the mob and everything. He was telling me stories about being in the mob and everything, and then going off into telling me modern stories about him working as a ranger and as a conservationalist for the Catskills. So the dude has like played so many different roles and spectrums in his life, which I just fascinated when someone has all these stories to share. And um, and he's had 3 hip replacements,
Dang.
and the dude is still walking. It was like a 5 mile hike, and he said he's done this. He keeps track. He's done it 374 times this hike.
Oh, shit.
So some like even just another example, I guess, of well, that's not so much curious, but I guess just like moving, keeping moving. It doesn't matter the age.
Man, yeah. Yeah, dude. I love to see that. I love to see somebody who just keeps on moving into the next thing and doesn't stop, finding something else to live for and to yeah, to put your energy into.
Yeah,
The more we put it into, the more we get. The more we put it out there into life selflessly, then the more energy we get.
yeah. Where you put your attention, your energy flows.
Man, dude, that's awesome. I'll tell you another thing. There's somebody else I'm thinking about. So I had two family get-togethers this last weekend, and I saw my Aunt Carrie for the first time in a while, and I was thinking about her. And the interesting thing about her is she stays in the present moment. She's very like whatever's happening in the moment, like if we're talking about like playing a game or going to the bar after the family get together or something, she's always down to do that. Like she's not telling old stories about the past all the time. She's like very down to do like we are here together now. Let's do something. And she just got that energy. Like she's so fun to be around because she's always up to party and always up to make the most out of what's happening right now. And not like sometimes at family get-togethers, like I mean, yeah, it's a family thing. There's so much history that you can kind of get lost in history when you're sitting around the table and just tell stories about the past and things. But not Carrie. She's like, hey, we're here together. Like when somebody wants to do something, she's like, yeah, I'm in. Let's do it. And when somebody's like that, when they're able to just like be in the moment and be down to go on the ride, man, I love that.
That's a really good point, especially as age comes on, that it's not completely lived in the past, and you're only because that can happen, of course, right? Like I've seen it with many people. I think it's better than not having anything to say, having stories to share at least. But yeah, that can get very old. So for someone to have depth and complexity and the ability to dive into the past and also like being able to engage with the present in new ways or just, you know, like music, for example, like being able to play music is like very grounding in the present moment. Dancing, things like that, like exploring not only like conversating, but ways to live in the body, like being able to engage in not only verbal actions.
Yeah, yeah, man, those different modes of expression, it's infinite. You can find that expression in so many things. I also find it in guitar. That's the big one for me. Guitar and singing. Yeah, man, in dance, in art, you can create, you can sculpt things, you can paint things, you can draw things, you can
So much
build
you can do.
things, like
So
build
much you can do.
Legos, like anything. Like you can that expression.
Yeah, yeah. Anything to create, like anything you do, that's what's interesting about people is people that create, that
Yeah.
are willing to take what's inside of them and then do something with it in three dimensional.
Bro, that is going to be a field notes challenge. That's already kind of like a peripheral goal that I've had in my mind is that Justin and I are going to make an original song and play it at one of our gigs. That's going to be a
Oh
field
yeah.
notes challenge for us to
Oh,
write.
yeah.
Hopefully more. I mean, hopefully we'll do a fucking Spotify album of a bunch of our own originals. Because we're a cover band. I mean, we're playing 3 hour sets, all covers, but we're gonna sneak an original in there one of these days, and we're not gonna say a word. We're just gonna pretend that it's another Bob Seger song or another whatever, and we're just gonna see what the feedback is. No warning.
Yeah, man. Yeah. We got that. You already have them written?
No, no, I wrote two or three songs a few years ago, and I went out and played them at open mics. And that was the last time. I haven't written anything since. Justin wrote a song when he was like 16, and it was actually good. It was a love song. Just a, lovesick 16-year-old cheesy, cringy guy. But it really was a good song. And but he was embarrassed by it, and he just kind of like shut down the original Music Factory after that, just being like a self-conscious teenager. For which, hey, you know what? There's no fault. Just now's the time for redemption. Now it's time to get into writing music. We're more
Yeah.
mature now. So
Yeah. 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 I'm sure he's well past that phase in his life where he doesn't give a fuck as much anymore.
yeah, yeah. Being a dad of two boys will do that.
Yeah. And just get him beaten up by this world
The
as
ego's
we do along the
crashed.
way.
His ego is just getting, oh man, tag teamed by The Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin, just getting smashed.
So we got 10 minutes left. So let's man, dude, I could go for days on this topic. There's just like so much. Um, someone that's got hobbies, someone that doesn't just work and wake up, shit, eat and piss and work out. Like someone that's got hobbies that is playing, like does things for play,
Yeah.
where
Yes.
it's not about a specific outcome or other than like joy and just having fun.
Yes. Absolutely. And I'll tell you another one personally for me is when somebody has way different hobbies than what I have. It just fills up my heart so much to see how diverse the world can be. Like there are people who are totally incorrigibly in love with certain endeavors and aspects of life that I have never even heard of, or I'm completely uninterested in them. But for some people, these things are like, oh, they're the best, they're the greatest thing. And when I see that, like when I see somebody devoting like all this authentic love and like really all this passion to this thing that I don't even care about. I love to see that. That's so fascinating to me. Like, I'm like, man, like, what is it? Like, when I see somebody like that, it makes me want to learn about that thing, even though, like, I'm not inherently interested in it. Like, I love
Yeah,
seeing.
passion, the passion. Yeah, that's a big one. Um, yeah, people that, you know, they're not a shallow puddle, they're deep. You could dive in there and go around them for quite a bit to conversate, whatever, explore their inner world with them.
Yeah,
Um, and that really comes from someone that's in touch spiritually, like has an understanding to some degree that life's more than just our bodies in the three-dimensional world. Like it's you don't gotta look too far to recognize that truth. So, and then once you dive down that path, I mean, it's a wide, long, infinite path. So, uh, yeah, anyone that's opened themselves up to it, it's got me interested for sure.
same, same. Yeah,
It's
that's
like a requirement. Like you gotta, and that's actually, yeah, that's gotta be like a requirement. If I, for me to say that person interests me, they have to have a spiritual nature to that or understanding to some degree. It's gotta be there. If
yeah,
you don't have any spiritual, I don't even know if I'm sure there's people out there nowadays, but I would be like, dang it, what is that person doing not to recognize the truth of the world?
yeah.
Like, how can you be cut off from it?
Yeah, not to start as we matured and to not start turning our face toward that avenue of realization is yeah, the more we mature, I mean, the more that's where the juice of life is. That's where things really start to open up. If you're missing that boat, then man, that is yeah, I actually believe that's not only an uninteresting place, but a pretty dark place to be. That's part of why we're doing this to make that path like accessible to get those kind of insights out there. Like anybody can go that everybody should go on that path. It's anybody can go on the path, and it's
It's the only true path. Life is spiritual in and of itself. We are all just literally experiencing our own consciousness.
yeah.
And that's a whole different conversation.
It
But
is, but that's a super interesting thing to say at the end of a conversation about what makes people interesting. So I think it's if
so, yeah, people's minds are fascinating, and one's ability to connect with their inner world is so fucking interesting. That is probably the most profound thing. When we all are able to get into the phase in life where we are able to connect so deeply with ourselves and we're able to work through our traumas and shed and just annihilate our old egos and personalities and things that they're not ours. They were things that were given to us or put onto us or, from society or things outside of us that weren't our decision, but they were something we just held on to throughout life. When we get to that place of being able to shed all that and get to the truth of our soul and connect with the deepest part of ourselves and able to then move freely in the world, carefree from this place, that's the most interesting thing. Because life is infinite from there. It's a you're fearless. Like you don't have to worry about anything. If your life ended tomorrow, you'd be happy. And beyond the fact of the matter is that this life is much more than your actual life. So you're not afraid of death.
yeah, yeah, dude. No, nothing can make somebody more interesting than that. It's that's the way to be.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it anyway. So
There's a
yeah,
bravery there. Yeah, there's there's like a lust for life in the sense of wanting to know it to that degree, wanting to know it so deeply that you're not afraid to lose it.
yeah, Yeah, man, that's right. Not afraid to die, and then you're not afraid to live. Right. It's, yeah, it's what makes somebody interesting.
Yeah, because that's really the only that when we're getting cool as we all approach that point in life, that's the ultimate freedom point. It truly is.
Yeah, man. Sweet. Any closing comments before we wrap this thing up?
I think what I just said is enough for you and I and other people to sit with. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, sweet, dude. Good times. We'll be back for more with field notes on Wednesday
For Thursday.
or Thursday.